What's up, beautiful besties? It's your girl Alicia at Turning Tides Tarot. Thanks so much for being here with me. I have a couple minutes between readings today, and I thought, okay, it is time to sit down and Spirit's got some kind of message coming out for you, something you need to know right now. And Spirit specifically called me to use this angel message deck, which haven't used in a while. I actually pulled it out for the Twin Flame Mercury Retrograde reading, and since then it's been kind of just staring at me with a message in it. Anyways, if you are interested in that, in case you didn't know, and for those of you who know already, sorry if I sound like a broken record, I did pour like 2 hours into Twin Flame Mercury Retrograde special, y'all. It is pinned to the comments below if you're interested. It is behind a paywall because there's no karmics allowed in that reading. Anyways, this one is, I don't have no idea what the message is going to be, friends. I really don't. We're just doing a quick little check-in, and this is going to go straight out to YouTube, and yeah, whatever. Here it is. I'm calling on Spirit with so much love and so much gratitude. I ask for divine guidance as I interpret these messages. May they help us all on our journey towards our highest and greatest good. Oh, I like this. I'm taking the top card. Yeah, well, I'm taking all the cards. Okay, Spirit said take all the cards. So anyways, I was trying to say my intention. Yeah. And I'm thrown up right off track with the message. Spirit's like, okay, we know what you're going to say. Thank you. Yeah, we're here, girly. It's fine. Just get the message out. Y'all, this is very, very interesting. Everything that's popped out here. Let me just put this deck down. Actually, what's at the bottom? 10 of water. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'll just stick it here. Okay. Remind me, if you can, speak through the camera. This is the bottom of the deck energy. It doesn't really matter. It's here. So, wow. We have 5. Okay. So in this deck, you know, water is cups, fire is wands, air is swords, earth is pentacles. Okay. So 5 of water. This is where we're starting here. 5 of water. This is the 5 of cups, okay? And it does speak to general disappointment, sadness, grief, all that, all right? It's the hard stuff. It's the ick. We don't want to be there, but it's life. It happens. We get disappointed. Things not turning out the way you'd hoped, okay? Not seeing a positive in the situation, crying over spilled milk, okay? That's the energy, and that's where we all started, okay? Now, I would say we all, this is collective. If the reading doesn't fit for you, please don't force it, okay? Please don't. Only take what really feels good in your soul, okay? But the 5 of water, this talks about where we were, where we're at. And I say where we were because we have the 9 of water, 9 of cups right next to it. Flew right out. And I see someone, this says your wish comes true. Concerns fade away. This is maybe something going on in your love life, right? Because water, cups, emotions, all of that. Okay, what I see here is where you were highly disappointed, not really focusing on what you had lost, crying over the spilled milk. I feel like someone out here has done a very conscious flipping of the switch internally, okay? And what I mean by that is not focusing on what we don't have and focusing instead, shifting our focus into what we do want, what makes us happy or what we still have, counting our blessings, that kind of a vibe. You have shifted the energy internally. Now, when we do that, okay, and sometimes it's hard to pull yourself out of the dumps. I get it, right? And I'm not going to say you should ever push those hard feelings away because we have to feel it to heal it, okay? So we want to acknowledge it, but we just don't want to ruminate there too long if we can help it, okay? And I'll put that out there because we're all human. Sometimes we can get stuck in that energy, right? Being down in the dumps. Well, instead, I feel like you just got plain old sick of feeling sad. I got no more cries to tears. No more tears to cry. That's the vibe. And I feel like there was a moment where, again, the switch flipped. The lights came on and you're like, you know what? It is what it is. I can't do anything to change it right now. And I'm going to focus on my own joy. I'm going to focus on the things I do want. I'm going to count my blessings. I'm going to start saying some affirmations. I'm going to, again, completely change my internal dialogue. Maybe it's around the situation, but maybe it's just in general. Okay. Now, when you did that, when you made that decision, you literally changed the whole trajectory of not only your vibration and what you're putting out into the universe, but you change the trajectory of the situation when you were crying over. Okay. And I'm just going to say that. All right. You were looking at things differently. I'm surprised I don't see the hangman out here, but that's okay. Our only major, because that can speak to changing our perspective, seeing things differently, right? And then no longer, and seeing a way out of a situation rather than feeling stuck, right? Or on a loop. Now, with the 10 of fire here, it says, too much work, accept help from others. Life is out of balance, stress-related health concerns. Okay, great. That's what's on this deck here. But the 10 of wands is usually a moment that triggered you to release all of the weight that you've been carrying, the stress, the maybe some extra responsibilities. Maybe you've got a lot of plates up in the air right now, and you're just like insanely busy, and you've been holding on, to everything. You've been taking care of everything, taking care of yourself, others, other people's drama, other people's emotions, just, other people's responsibilities. You got to a point when you just said, nope, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm no longer willing to carry all this weight, and I'm going to shed it. I'm just going to drop it. Well, however it lands, it lands. I can't be bothered anymore. And again, you switched, right? So this is kind of talking about the same thing, different cards, same idea. 10 of water. What are you focusing on instead? What brings you joy? What brings you happiness? This is a contented and rewarding family life. Your emotional and material needs are met, trustworthy relationships. So you, instead of focusing on all the shit that was going bad, going wrong, highly disappointing, okay? You said, no, I am done with it. I'm done carrying it anymore. I just can't. And good for you, right? Spirit's proud of you. I'm proud of you. We're all proud of each other over here, okay? Everybody gets flowers. Every single person here in this reading gets flowers for doing that, because, again, you shifted the entire vibe internally. Now, when you shift that internally, you start to see things shift externally, right? How we feel on the inside is directly related and reflected to our outside world. It is. It just is. Okay. So you did a purge. You did some kind of purge. And like I said, the switch was flipped. And now all of a sudden you are starting to align with things that you want, things that bring you joy, just feeling lighter, feeling happier, feeling more, and purposefully focusing more on the things you want in life, the things you want to bring more of into you, right? Because whatever we focus on is what we end up bringing into us, right? And it's so true. And man, and I'll just use my own personal example. Okay. When you can sometimes be overwhelmed with bills you got to pay, things that come up, especially in, today's economy and all this other stuff, like when you've got a lot of pressure on you, and this could be financial, it could be in love, it could be whatever. I'm just sharing what's been going on with me. Things were getting really tight, and I have some really big bills, right? Because of where I am and what I do in my shop and all this other stuff. So I'm like, oh crap, things are getting a little rough. I keep having all these extra things come up, and groceries are freaking triple out here in Canada. Anyway, I don't know about where you are. Let me know in the comments if you have seen a huge increase in just daily expenses out here, right? It's getting insane. Anyways, so when we focus on, oh shit, I gotta do that, I gotta pay this, oh, where am I gonna get this for that? When you're under that kind of stress and you're focusing on the things that you don't want, you end up drawing in more of what you don't want. Now, for me, I was like, shit, girl, you know the laws of the universe. What are you doing? Stop focusing on that. You need to start living as if you already got everything paid. You don't have to worry, because it's taken care of. The universe is taken care of. You start living your life in a different type of way. You start focusing on your goals, your dreams, the things that you want to bring in, more happiness, more success, more abundance, whatever that is, right? And internally you flip the switch, and then you start seeing things go your way, right? You start getting that mirrored back to you from the universe, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, why didn't I do this earlier? And so I'm just giving you that personal example. I've recently been going through something like this as well, and we can get so stuck, right? We can get so stuck, but again, we're human. We're not going to beat ourselves up for it. Now, if this was in any area of your life, okay, I'm going to keep this one open. I'm going to keep this one general because it could be with a project. It could be with a relationship. It could be with your finances, your career, whatever it is. Okay. You said, you know what? I'm going to shift my focus and listen. Okay. I don't know who you are out here, but I just heard, girly, you got this. Okay. Girly, you got this. Now, I love it because we have the 3 of fire here, which is all about looking out to the future, seeing your ships come in, right? You're starting to see a change. You're starting to see things going your way. You're starting to feel lighter. You're starting to feel more optimistic, hopeful, and you are embodying the energy of abundance rather than lack. Okay, so huge. This is more of a universal spirit wants you to know type of message. You're on your way. Okay, now we have the 8 of air here, which is the 8 of swords. That is again coming, these thoughts creeping back in. Again, no one's perfect. What does it say here? An illusion of being trapped, a lack of self-confidence, or afraid to take action. Now, this doesn't mean just because you've been practicing, working with the law of attraction and other universal laws and just putting the good vibes out there and starting to see your ships come in. It doesn't mean that, again, no one's perfect. You might still have some creeping doubts, or you might still have to catch yourself. Okay. Catch yourself and say, you know what? I'm not going to believe that thought that just came into my mind, or nope. You're actively working to maintain, or you're actively working to release yourself from any self-fulfilling prophecies that you do not want to be fulfilled. Okay. And so with the 8 of air, is there something here that is still coming up as a challenge, right? Is there something here that Spirit wants you to look at where you still might be telling yourself, no, I can't get that, or no, it's impossible. Or, for me, maybe today I went to the mailbox, guess what? 3 new expenses came in. Okay. I could have the tendency to say, oh, girl, worry about that. Get back into your worry mode. Oh my gosh, am I going to have enough? Is it going to work? Da, 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 da. No, you are. Everything's going to be just fine, right? We want to stay in that energy of abundance. We want to, even if you have to fake it till you make it, okay, as long as we are correcting our core beliefs and we're redirecting our core beliefs, feeling worthy, feeling confident, feeling like we deserve nothing but the best, feeling like we are, out here. I like to say it out loud. I like to say it out loud. I'm rich, bitch. Like things like that. I don't know if y'all know that Dave Chappelle. Like I don't know if I'm dating myself, but it's something that brings a little bit of humor, lightens my personal mood when I can start feeling myself. Oh, like the walls are starting to close in again. No, we're shutting it down. Okay, so I'm only sharing that so that you can relate, okay, in some type of way. We are still shutting down the mind. It doesn't mean that, we've fixed it for good. We still got to deal with it. Now, if we continue to check ourselves before we literally wreck ourselves, okay, if we continue on that path, guess what happens here? We have the wheel, Archangel Michael energy on this one, and it says, a time of positive change, a situation suddenly moves forward, fortune is on your side. This is it. The tides start turning. Pun absolutely intended. Okay. Absolutely pun intended. The tides are turning here. Okay. This is you aligning with what it is that you're putting out into the universe, aligning with the abundance, no longer feeling like you have to fake it till you make it, because you're making it. You know what I mean? You're there. Okay. So wherever you are on this journey, on this path, okay, it doesn't matter if you're still stuck over here. This message reaches you for a reason to help you, right? And that's my intention. That's what I hope for. Now, with the Wheel of Fortune, you are aligning with where you're supposed to be, the right place, the right time, the right people, the right opportunities, the right everything, right? This is about everything right. This is about just fate, destiny, positive shift, positive change. So there's no more faking it anymore. And look what happens. 9 of Earth. Now that's the 9 of Pentacles. And we all know that's our independent, abundant person. Okay. Now, not only that, but they get what they want. They get what they have everything they need and more with the 9 of Pentacles, because there's a little caveat, and I'll come back to that in a minute. But here it says enjoying life's little luxuries, spending quiet time alone, successful self-employment. So you're reaping the benefits of what you've sown, right? The rewards, you're getting the rewards, right? You've planted really good seeds. You've taken care of it. You've watered. You've weeded. You've done the work. The harvest is here. Okay, it's here for you. So this is your trajectory. You are shifting. You're literally shifting your whole vibration. You're aligning with a more abundant timeline. And I'm not saying that see, when we talk about timelines, and again, this is my ADHD. I know I didn't say the thing here, and I'm going to say it now. There's still that one thing missing, usually with the 9 of Earth, one more pentacle. We get the 10, and that's the most. That's the abundance. For some, it could be waiting for the perfect partner or the life partner or the soulmate, and that comes, right, in due time. But that was the little detour I missed talking about a minute ago. But what really happens here, oh shoot, my train, hold on. Oh my gosh, okay, the train totally left the station. And again, symptom of my ADHD. Undiagnosed, I'm assuming. But yeah, no, I know it is. But anyways, y'all, I had to go back and watch just so I could figure out my train of thought, right? And I was starting to talk about timelines, and this is very important, okay? Because people, when we talk about timelines, we think, okay, well, I'm over here in this timeline and things aren't going well, and I want to shift out to my more abundant timeline. Just because we do the shift doesn't mean that we're always going to stay there. I feel like we're always bobbing and weaving up and down, in and out of several different timelines. Okay, as far as my own personal experience has been, right? Like I said, we're human. We're human, and we're not perfect, right? We're not always vibing up high, radiating love and light and all that stuff. We dip. We have our dip moments, okay? And sometimes it can be really easy to get stuck in that lower vibration, right? And that's what this eight of Swords is warning about, and wanting to acknowledge is that, okay, you're still going to have to maintain this, is what I mean, okay? And don't beat yourself up if you have a little dip, right? If you have a little dip, course correct, get yourself back on your abundant timeline, okay? And just know that, just remind yourself, okay? Like I said, oh, I should have freaking thought of this sooner, or why didn't I do this sooner? You know what to do. You know how to work with the energy. You're a freaking magician, So just always try to remind yourself. And maybe this reading is just a reminder for you. My intention is if it fell on your timeline, or if it fell on your For You page, or however it is you found this reading, that you were meant to have this moment of, aha, this is what it is. Thank you for the, course correction. Okay. And just know that you're killing it out here. This is the glow up energy, the 9 of Pentacles, right? 10 of water, 10 of cups. You are literally aligning with what it is that you truly want out of this life. Okay. And it's going to be different for everyone, whatever that happily ever after, whatever that ideal is for you, whatever goal you're working on, you are getting there. Okay. And so I feel like this actually warrants one of our law of attraction type of oracle messages. And this deck is by Esther Hicks, and yeah, she does great work. And she's always talking about the law of attraction. Mind you, she could use a little simpler language, I feel like. And these cards could be simplified. I wish they were, but the deck is called Ask and it is Given. Okay, so let's just see what message wants to pop out from here. All right, what is it, Spirit? I will reach. See, okay, look, this is it. Perfect. Thank you, Spirit. I will reach for the best feeling thought I have access to. So I'm going to try and grab a hold of the best, highest vibrational thought that I can muster in the moment, whatever I can. Okay. That whatever thought that is, the best thought you got. Okay. It says, always be reaching for the feeling of relief that comes when you release a more resistant thought here and replace it with a more allowing, better feeling thought. Okay. The stream of well-being is always flowing through you. And the more you allow it, the better you feel. The more you resist it, the worse you feel. So allow yourself to think better thoughts, okay? And when the bad ones come creeping in, let's not judge them. We're just going to not internalize them. We're not going to dwell on them. We're just going to reach for the best feeling thought that you absolutely have access to in the moment, okay? And that is the message that Spirit wanted to deliver. Thank you for being here. If you're new, this is awesome time to subscribe to the readings if you like them. Yeah, we do a bunch of readings all over the place. Whatever Spirit calls me to read on, that's what I do. And yeah, we've got more coming down the line always. So thank you for your support. Thank you for your comments and your likes and the love and the energy exchange. I'm sending you guys so much love. Don't forget, there is a link if you're interested in the Twin Flame Mercury Retrograde. I have to keep reminding everybody and myself. I usually don't promote. I'm usually kind of not the best at self-promotion or whatever, but I poured my whole entire freaking soul into that reading. And so, yeah, it is kind of like, yeah, we've only got, how long? Another like 9 days, 10 days? 9 days in the retrograde, a little bit more with the shadow aspect of it as well, spilling into December. But y'all, yeah, it's a gooder. Okay. So again, thank you for being here. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your time. Thank you for chilling with me today. And I'll see you in the next reading. Bye.